He is five-time Pro Bowler, five-time All-Pro Super Bowl champion, and amazing superstar analyst for Thursday Night Football on Prime Video, host of the Richard Sherman podcast. Richard Sherman, you weren't a Pro Bowler for that 2012 8-interception, 24 PBU season?
Yeah, I said, yeah, it's one of those things. It's one of those deals. Yeah, you get 8 picks, 24 PBUs, and they say no Pro Bowl, but, you know, it was all pro, and that's what matters in this league.
Yeah, and it's giving me Kirby Joseph 2024. Not
oh
a Pro Bowler, maybe an All-Pro.
I cannot believe that. Oh, that was sick. That's sick. It's silly because I don't know how they pick it. I don't know how you leave him out of it.
I think it's voting. How about All-Pro? Should make the case for Kirby Joseph to be an All-Pro.
Oh, no question. No question. I mean, because the picks matter. You know, obviously, you know, there are guys playing a high-level football at every level, but you get 9 interceptions in the National Football League. You got to go over the water. Well, it's not over the water anymore. It's in Orlando, I guess. But you got to be an All-Pro. You got to be. He's one of the best at his positions. Obviously, Xavier McKinney in Green Bay is also in that. You got a case, but I don't think you leave him out. If they do, I mean, I don't know how you're voting for these things.
I love that you have your own platform. I love seeing you under the bright lights of a primetime game, but I miss you on the field, Sherman, I got to say.
I appreciate that. I made my point on that field. I'm comfortable where I am now. Look, I got nothing else to prove. People all the time like, hey, come back, you know, unretire. I said, I don't got nothing for them receivers no more. Look, I've been stressed long enough. I'm done being stressed. I get to talk the game now.
Richard, you saying I proved my point on the field it's so real. It's so true. You did several times, several exclamation points out there whenever you're on the field. I missed obviously the game breaking, the instinct, everything that you brought to it. But I like this. I like it. And we have that a little bit with Commanders cornerback Marshawn Lattimore and Bucks wideout Mike Evans. We know maybe they respect each other. They do not like one another. And I love that about them. And you know a thing or two about that. How big of an impact will the history make on the game this Sunday?
Oh, it's going to make an impact, you know, and I'm sure they're going to have Lattimore follow him. Because obviously Mike is a huge target. You know, he's a huge part of their offense. But yeah, they got real history. I think in New Orleans it was even bigger just because the teams understood it. The teams had conflict. You know what I mean? So it went further than just Mike and Lattimore. It went through the whole team. But I think the Commanders will back him up. You know, even though he's only been there for a little while, and he's going to continue to be him. He's going to continue to try to get under Mike's skin, and Mike's going to continue to feel a way about him. So I can't wait to watch it. That's one of my favorite matchups.
Who gets the best of who? Marshawn coming off a little bit of an injury. Who gets the best of who?
I don't know. I mean, Marshawn's had a lot of good games against Mike, you know, but Mike's in a zone right now. And Baker's going to feed him, and I'm sure Baker knows the history, and Baker's petty in that way, and I like that about them. So I think Mike will have more opportunities to go after.
Do you like a petty quarterback?
Yeah, I do. I like a petty everything. I'm here for pettiness.
I love it. You're prepping for Amazon's first wild card playoff game. Ravens-Steelers, that'll be so amazing. It's Saturday night. This, you know, momentum, does it matter? I don't know. The Steelers have lost 4 in a row heading into this one. Fans are saying, give us Justin Fields. Give us a spark. Is that the answer?
Yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy because, you know, fans kind of ride the wave of a season. And when Tomlin first went from Justin Fields to Russell Wilson, I was like, you know, I don't know if you move off the hot hand, but obviously for a long time, and Mike's been a great coach for a very long time. He knows a lot more than I do, and it worked out. You know, they played really well. They didn't play the best teams, but they did beat this Baltimore Ravens team when that Ravens defense was last in pass defense and, you know, not playing as well as they are now. And since they have made the changes that they have at safety, a few changes at corner, and a few rotational changes at linebacker, they have played entirely different football. You know, Kyle Hamilton playing safety exclusively. Marlon Humphreys is in the slot a lot more, and Ardarius Washington at the safety spot is playing really well. I don't know if it's the time to move to Justin Fields. Russell's got enough playoff experience. You know, he got to protect the ball. They got to run it well. It's not just the quarterback position that's holding them back. Their defense got to play better, and they got to stop 2 guys that are very difficult to stop, and Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. So, you know, it's easier than just switch quarterbacks and that's going to solve everything. That's not really correct.
What does it do to Russell, you think, hearing all that?
I don't think it does anything to him. I think he's played in the league long enough to know that you treat the two imposters the same. If when they're praising him and telling him he's the best in the world, I don't think he's listening and reading all that. And I don't think when they tell him, hey, they're trying to replace him, if he's reading all that. I think he's a pro and he's going to approach the game the same way and he's going to go out there and try to execute.
The Ravens defense, what a turnaround, right? They're like, total ranking is still somehow 31st because they got so many times early in the season. But it's crazy. But they're number one pass defense in the past 8 weeks. What, in your head, is the biggest part of this dramatic change? What are you most impressed by, Richard?
The secondary. The secondary is what I'm most impressed by. Obviously, Humphries is having a Pro Bowl season. He made the Pro Bowl and might even be an All-Pro season, if they put him in third spots because he's been so versatile. But moving on from Marcus Williams was a big deal for them, and no offense to him, but, ever since they moved Kyle Hamilton back to safety and our Darius Washington to the other safety, it's just been an incredible turnaround. They're playing really fast. They're playing a lot of man-to-man coverage. They're tight. Tre'Davious White, has played some pretty solid football up to this point since he's gotten traded from the Rams, and all of that matters. The pass rush is getting home. I think everything's marrying up together. The rush gets hot, the coverage gets tighter, everything works together, and it's all worked successfully for Baltimore. And
you gotta love seeing I would consider now like the OGs just having crazy years. Like I'm looking at Marlon, like go off, Marlon. I'm looking at Kyle Van Noy, like let's go.
Right. Van Noy has had a resurgence.
Crazy.
Man. I love what Fruit Punch is doing, man. He's going out there, he's balling, he's doing his thing. It's great to see. It's great to see their whole defense. Baltimore is just, you think about defense when you think about Ravens.
How would you do against a guy like George Pickens? Because I feel like the NFL gods get it right mostly, but I feel like I was robbed of you and George squaring off.
I think I'd do pretty well. He's a tall guy. He makes a lot of catches on go balls. He's vertical. He's dynamic laterally, but I obviously, confident guy. I would believe that I'd get the job done and be able to have success. But I like him as a player. I think he's really dynamic. I think what he does well fits what Russell Wilson does well in deep balls and pushing the ball down the field. So, but if he's healthy, I think they got a great chance. Yeah. But he had a rough game their last go round, so I'm sure he's going to be tough on himself.
I feel like you would stop him. That's what I think. I think he plays right into your hands. I think he's just built I think you dominate that matchup. Just saying. Last one for you. Pete Carroll. He's got a job today. I saw you have a LinkedIn. You said you're open for jobs. We can talk about that another time. You're too busy. But we have Pete Carroll interviewing for a Bears head gig today. He has to fit with Caleb. He has to fit with the culture there. Do you think he should be the coach of the Bears?
Yeah.
Why?
I think he's going to get a coaching job just because he's a culture builder, and I think everybody's gotten to this cutesy mindset of offensive genius or defensive genius, and they forgot about building culture of a team, and he's built with young quarterbacks. He's built with quarterbacks people threw away, and he's had success building defenses. All the pieces are there for him to be really successful.
Richard, you are such a legend. So, truly, and I tried to get you on the show for like 3 years, so I'm so happy that this worked out. Thank you to Amazon. You can watch Sherm and the whole TNF crew on Saturday starting at 7:30 p.m. Eastern for Prime Video's first ever wild card playoff game. When I was like a young cat in this business, you were so good to me always, so thank you so much. And listen to the Richard Sherman podcast as well. Thank you so much. Good luck on Saturday.
I appreciate you. It's great to see you.
Great to see you. Bye, Richard.